Hello guys, how are you today? I hope you are doing very well. This is Abdulrahman Hassanin and you can call me Abdu. Thanks for watching. Let's continue applying Pareto Analysis Series. And if you remember, the first video was an introduction about the Pareto concept. The second was about applying Pareto using Excel. The third was about applying Pareto using DAX. And fourth, the last one, about visualize Pareto using Power BI. Today we are gonna use SQL Server. And for your information, there are several SQL dialects such as MySQL, SQLite, Google BigQuery, SQL from Oracle, and PostgreSQL with an elephant face logo. And this is the most advanced SQL and most suitable for big data and an open source, so not require payment or fees. But at the end, there are not big differences between these dialects, SQL dialects. And if you master and become professional in one of them, it's gonna be easy or very easy to be professional in all of them. You can consider them as a SQL platform. So today we are gonna use SQL Server. SQL Server is a Microsoft product, so it's easy to integrate with other Microsoft products such as Power BI, Excel, and etc. Today I'm gonna talk about CTE. CTE is a common table expression. This is an advanced function, and if you apply it, and if you still as in a beginner level, it's gonna help you to upgrade yourself to be an intermediate level. So focus with me, please. This is an advanced function, and also I'm gonna explain window function and how can we convert the number to string or to text. How can we create a cumulative revenue and the cumulative revenue percentage as well, and in general, how can we apply Pareto analysis using SQL. So let's dive in and let's go to SSMS, which means SQL Server Management Studio, to start coding SQL. Let's go. Hello guys, welcome back. This is a window for SQL Server, or which called, as I mentioned in the introduction, SSMS or SQL Server Management Studio. And we are going to start with press on new query. So this is the studio of SQL. We are gonna run the code here in this place. And the first step, we need to create a database. We can create it from here. Right click, new database, name the database, add, and OK. Or we can create it from here to write create database and name the table. We are going to name it Pareto and execute. Command completed successfully, but we can't see anything here. We need to disconnect and connect it again. Yes, please. So we are going to see it here. And then we need to select from here our new table, Pareto. Okay, guys, we can write semicolon after the code or not. It doesn't affect running the code, but the professional SQL guys used to write this semicolon at the end of the code. So after we created the database, we need to upload the Excel sheet here. So go to Pareto, right click, tasks, and select import flat file. Next, browse. This is the data sheet, Excel sheet. You can find it, guys, in the description of the video. Next, this is our tables. Next, this primary key if we have more than one table, but because we have only one table, so no need to select anything here. Next, finish, success, close. Okay, let's check here, table. There is nothing here. We need to disconnect and connect again. Database, Pareto, tables. Yes, the table is here. Okay, and we have two columns, as you see, customer name and their value. Let's enlarge the SQL window or SQL Studio to make it clearer to see, and close it as well. So now guys, to apply Pareto in SQL, we need to create CTE, which means Common Table Expression. And as I explained this idea in DAX Studio, the last video or third video in this series, if you haven't watched it yet, please go to watch it after we finish this video. I give an imaginary example that CTE as a building contains levels. Each level contains a container, a big container, to create columns and to do calculations inside this table. And all levels or tables are connected. The table 1 based on the original table, the table 2 based on the table 1, and so on until we finish our tables. In DAX, there are some differences between SQL and DAX. In DAX, we started with var and repeated it before every table and ended with return, with word return. But here in SQL, we are gonna start with only once and the beginning. That's it. No need to repeat it. Okay, and this which is called CTE. So let's start with word width to create CTE. So now we need to name the table. I'm gonna name it as table 1, and you can name it in any name you like. As open bracket, right, select. I'm gonna recall the only two columns we have: customer name and their VIN. From, as I mentioned guys, DAX Studio or DAX formula and SQL are not case sensitive. It doesn't matter if you write it in uppercase or lowercase. From the original table, the name of original table is Pareto. Close the bracket, and you have it, comma after, and this is different between SQL and the DAX. In DAX, no need to write comma after you close the bracket. But here in SQL, you have to. You have to until the last table. In the last table, no need to put comma after you close the bracket. Go to the second table. I'm gonna name it as table 2. Open bracket. Select. We are gonna select and write star. It means select all the above table, all the column we recall or we created from the above table, comma. In this table, we are gonna create two columns and do two calculations. The first column is an index column for customer number series, do calculation for the total number of customers. The second column will be cumulative revenue and do calculation for the total revenue. So remember, they are two columns and two calculation. Okay guys, please focus with me because this is very important point I'd like to explain. If we need the function to create a column, it means we need to work as a loop. There is no loop in SQL, I know, but it's work as a loop. It means go to the table to go row by row. In this case, we are gonna write an order function inside the bracket beside over to give us cumulative revenue or to give us ranking. But if we need to do only calculation, so there is no need to write anything between the bracket beside over. We are gonna leave it empty. So let's start here guys. I'm gonna start to create an index with row number function
open and close bracket, over, and guys, with this is which called window function. Here and in DAX, we need it as a column or as a calculation. We need one number, or we need to work as a loop to go row by row. No, we need to work as a loop. So we are gonna write here order by revenue in descending order, and I'm gonna name it as index, comma. The second function, we are gonna do calculation for the total number of customers. So we are gonna use count function, open bracket and star. It means give us the total number of rows, and this means the total number of customers. And then we need to create a column for cumulative revenue. So we are gonna use sum revenue over, so cumulative, so we need to give an order between the bracket, because this is not only one number, this is a column. Order by revenue descending. Let's take it in the next line. I'm gonna name it as I mentioned, guys, SQL and the DAX, DAX Studio or DAX formula and SQL, they are not case sensitive, so you can write it in uppercase or lowercase, it doesn't matter. As cumulative revenue, comma. So the last one, we need to calculate the total number of revenue. So we are going to use also sum function, revenue over here. Total number is one number, or a column is one number. So we are going to leave between bracket empty as total revenue from which table, as I mentioned, the table 2 based on table 1. So from table 1, close the bracket and comma. Don't forget this comma. The code is not gonna run without this comma. And third table, I'm gonna name it as a table 3, as open bracket, select all the above column and table from above. Here in this table, guys, we need to create 2 columns. The first about cumulative customer percentage and cumulative revenue percentage. How can we do it? We are gonna use format function, open bracket. So for the cumulative customer percentage, we need to use we will need to divide index by link. So index here above over link, close the bracket, and we need to make it as a percentage. So we are gonna use P with decimal or without decimal. For this, for cumulative customer percentage, no need decimal, so we are gonna put 0 and single quotation. Single quote here, guys, in SQL, it means this is a text, this is a string. Any text or string, you need to put it between 2 single quotes. And close the bracket for format, as I'm gonna name it as cumulative customer percentage. And the second column, we're gonna use also format, and between it we are gonna divide cumulative revenue over divided by total revenue. Okay, guys, and for percentage, yes, we need percentage, so P and 2 decimal. So we are gonna go to as, make it, I know it's not case sensitive, but I am case sensitive. Cumulative revenue percentage. So for your information, format function converted the number to string. Okay, remember, please focus on this point because we need it in the upcoming steps. So here, this number converts it to string, to text. And from which table? We are in the table 3, so based on table 2. Okay, let's remove this code, guys, because SQL think that you need to create it again, so it's gonna give you an error. And also, okay, we have some mistake here. Order, yes. What else we have? I think, yes, make sure Pareto. Okay. Oh, I forget something here, guys. This is a percentage, so we need to add it, multiply with 1.0, and here also multiply with 1.0. So we cannot leave the equation here without adding or multiplying with 1.0. It means this is a number with decimals. So we already done. We finish all tables, and in the last table, no need to write a comma after close the table. It means we let SQL know this is the last step. The last step in DAX, if you remember, we write return. Here, we don't write anything, but we don't write comma after close the bracket. So last step is select. So we are gonna recall all the column we created. Revenue. What else we need in our table? Cumulative revenue. Okay, no need index because SQL has it is index. No need link as well. Link. This is the total number of customers. No need it because this is a calculation, and also no need total revenue is a calculation as well. Yes, we need the customer percentage. Cumulative revenue percentage as well. And the last thing we need to do to create a new column for Pareto observation. If you remember, as we did in Excel and the DAX Studio, we are gonna do here the same. But in Excel and the DAX Studio, we used if formula. Here in SQL, we are gonna use case function. Case when can we use this cumulative revenue percentage less than or equal to 80%? It's not gonna work. You know why? Because format convert the number to string. So now SQL cannot read this number or cannot read this the result here as a number. So we need to take this equation as it is, copy and paste. Then if it's less than or equal to 80%, so mention within 80% of revenue, close the single quote, comma, no comma with case, else, otherwise, if it's above 80%, it will give us outside 80% of revenue, close single quote, and as name the column Pareto observation. From, don't forget from which table? Table 3. Done, ya prince. Order by revenue in descending order. Okay guys, I hope it's gonna work. Execute. Let's hide above. It's working, guys. Oh my god, thanks God. So here we have, as the result we got in Excel and the DAX Studio, here 4 customers, form almost 80% of the result of the revenue. So let's continue, guys. In the upcoming video, I'm gonna apply Pareto analysis using Python. So guys, please subscribe to the channel and like the video to support me so I can continue posting video. See you soon and bye for now.
Can't get where I want him if I couldn't let him